All right, let's talk Scotland squad for the November Test matches. The squad which actually got named yesterday, but I haven't been able to do a video until today because Greek Wi-Fi. Lots to love about this country. The weather is absolutely incredible. The sea at this time of year, just have a look at that. It's warm, and I'm going to be getting in it very soon. The food to die for. Wi-Fi, not so much. You can't have it all, can you? But there you go, I'm here anyway, and if you appreciate the content on the channel, give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me spread the word, and I want to let as many people know just how big and exciting these test matches coming up in November are. So help me out there with a comment down below as well, and hit subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. That is Gregor Townsend's Scotland squad, and the first thing you notice is just how many people are in it. 45 names. What's going on there? Well, part of that is that Scotland are playing 4 matches rather than 3, which a lot of teams are playing, and there's a big spread of opposition in terms of the intensity they're going to be facing, because they play Fiji, then the world champion South Africa, then they play Portugal, and then Australia. So it almost feels like with the Fiji and Portugal games, particularly, especially the Portugal game, there's kind of one emerging squad that could get some game time, and then a first choice team will play in the other games. Obviously there'll be an overlap between first and second choice, and that especially comes to light when you dig into the squad, which I will do, because Scotland are legit. When all their players are available, they are a class outfit. Really, really strong. And they should be aiming for they should be aiming for 3 wins in this. I was going to say at least 3 wins. Yes, they'll be trying to beat South Africa. That's a big ask. But at home, and if everyone's available, they can absolutely do it. They are legit. Having said that, they need everybody available. Let's talk about the players that aren't there. Firstly, Kyle Steyn. That's a big blow for him. I mean, I don't know about you, and tell me if you disagree in the comments, but if Kyle Steyn is available, he is the first choice winger down on the team sheet for me. No doubt. Even above Duhan van der Merwe, I think he's Scotland's best winger, and I think he's got a definite shout at getting on a British and Irish Lions tour next summer. So a big, big blow for him that he's out of the November tests. But Darcy Graham is pretty handy. Aaron Reid and Kyle Rowe will do a job if called upon. And Duhan van der Merwe is obviously there, so no real worries there. Another player that is out is Andy Christie. He was playing so well and was really making strides on the international stage as well. And not just an injury, but a terrible injury as well, which could keep him out for a while. So wishing him a speedy recovery. The Greys aren't there. Johnny and Richie both left out of a squad. That feels like end of an era stuff, doesn't it? I can't remember the last time there was the Scotland squad without one Grey or the other in it. And Ben Healy, one of the most interesting names that isn't there. He came over from Munster to Edinburgh pursuing international rugby. It hasn't really panned out the way he would have liked, and certainly the way a lot of fans hyping him up anticipated that it might work. It hasn't really gone that way, which is a shame for him. But the flip side of that point, of course, is the fact that Tom Jordan is an absolute baller, and he is in the Glasgow Warrior fly half. And what I love about his selection is he plays exactly like Finn Russell does. He looks to attack first, and so I think he feels like a natural understudy for Finn Russell. He's had a brilliant year. You know, the brains of the team that went on and won the URC, and you can't begrudge him a shot, and I think he'll do well. He looks like a real class individual. Rory Hutchinson, also so good to see his name there. I'm someone that watches a lot of Premiership rugby, and he's been so good for Northampton for so long. And just like Ben Healy, he changed his allegiance to pursue international rugby. Ben Healy got his international caps, and maybe he wouldn't have done if he stayed at Munster for Ireland, so I get that. Rory Hutchinson, weirdly, and obviously I'm very biased here because I'm English, I wish he'd stayed English qualified, because I think he would have got more tests playing for England than for Scotland, because Scotland are blessed in that centre area, and in that partnership between Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones. They have got one of the most consistent and talented centre combos in world rugby. Tuipulotu are ace, and there is another Tuipulotu in the squad, which means that maybe if they're all selected, it might have to change to Tuipulotu. No, that doesn't work, does it? I'll take that back. Scratch that. Pretend I never said that. But, oh, actually, how did I not mention already? Sione Tuipulotu, captain And there feels like there's a bit of clarity in leadership from Gregor Townsend, finally, because we've had a while now where there's been co-captains, Finn Russell and Rory Darge, and sometimes teams would be picked and there'd be a captain and then about 4 vice-captains. And it feels like, and I think teams need this, don't they? And absolute clarity, and yeah, I think that'll be good for the squad. And Sione Tuipulotu's been talismanic on the field, and clearly a much-loved member of the team. And let's see what he can do on and off the field in what should be a big, big year for him. Is he going to stay at Glasgow? We'll wait and see. That one's going to play itself out. Will he go to England? Will he go to France? He'll surely be in the British and Irish Lions squad. But more importantly and more pressingly, he gets the honour of leading Scotland through these November tests, and some big tests they are as well. What else would I say about the squad? Load of kids in. I'm going to confess there's some names in there that I'm not 100% familiar with. Freddie Douglas is one, for example, who I think I've seen a little bit playing under 20s. I'm not mad. I recognise the name from under 20s matches, but don't know a lot about him. Don't think he's played any club rugby, but he's getting a lot of hype from people that I've seen commenting on him. So if he gets a chance maybe against Portugal, let's see what these kids can do. A lot of them might just be there for experience, and Gregor Townsend casting the net wide, getting them into camp so we can have a closer look. But like I say, they don't need to rely on the kids because they've got a settled and a quality squad. And with that in mind, let me just show you what I think will be Scotland's starting 15, or what I would select as their starting 15 anyway. But first, a recap of the games that they've got to play. Fiji on the 2nd of November, big challenge at Murrayfield against the Springboks on the 10th. I think Gregor Townsend will probably go full ball first choice against Fiji just to warm up for the Boks, and then all change. And he'll give all of those guys that played in the previous 2 weekends a weekend off, change the squad up. It's got 45 names there after all. And then for that final match against Australia, some of those fringe guys or backup guys, maybe they put their hand up for selection for that final match. And I don't know, I'm weirdly excited about that Australia game. I don't know if it's the history, what with the World Cup quarter-final in the past. But yeah, that should be a really good one to watch. All the games should be, all the internationals are. But let me bring you what I think the team will be. If I were Gregor Townsend, that would be my starting 15. So I would go Schoeman, Ashman, Fagerson, and the rest of the pack pretty much picks itself. I guess the one area is if Andy Christie was fit, would he have got into the back row? Some people would have Jamie Ritchie. I think that Glasgow trio in the back row of Fagerson, Darge and Dempsey is absolutely just beautifully balanced, really tough and abrasive. And even in a losing performance out in South Africa against the Sharks, that back row trio looked ace again for Glasgow. And I would personally just put them all in. The back line, in the absence of Kyle Steyn, Darcy Graham comes in, and the back line picks itself, except for the 9 shirt, which is really hotly contested. You've got Ali Price, you've got Ben White, the incumbent, George Horn, Jamie Doby. Jamie Doby could be a bit of an impact player off the bench with the pace that he brings. I'm a big George Horn fan, so I would go George Horn to start for Scotland. As for the bench, honestly, front 5 replacements, I don't really know. Rory Sutherland's gone back to Glasgow and looked to be in decent form, but is he enough to get on the bench ahead of Jamie Batty? Maybe not. Who's the hooker replacement going to be? I'm not 100% sure. Second row replacement? I'm not 100% sure. So I've just stuck with the 15 for now. That's what I would pick. I would love to know what you think about that and about anything else where Scotland are concerned. I think they should be targeting 3 wins and just have a crack. And I want to see them have a go against South Africa. I was there in Marseille when they lost to South Africa. And in that first half, they left points out there. And it was what? What was the score? It was something like 18-3, something like that. It wasn't a big scoring game. And I think at one point Scotland actually won a scrum penalty as well. So if they're Scottish as can be prop Pierre Schoeman can do a job against the South Africans, you never know. They've got Blair Kinghorn, Duan van der Merwe, Huey Pilotu, Finn Russell. They have got guys that can test any defence. And I think they should be targeting at least 3 wins. What do you reckon? Let me know. I'll see you on the next video.